Good tunes, good brew, good buddies. I feel great, man. I feel great.
Jim, do you feel great?
I feel fantastic after that.
Well, a little addition to the intro. I was telling Jim ran into some issues with the prior intro, but I like this one a little bit better.
Wow.
Short, sweet, to the point.
Hey, we just get right into it, right?
Get right into it. Little Wayne's World tribute. Yeah, so we are back after a little bit of a hiatus there after football season. We took a few weeks off, kind of regather, recoup, and we're going to talk about just a little bit of everything. We got a bunch of different topics tonight. Jim is traveling for work, uninterrupted, unfiltered.
There we go. So we got no distractions here in El Hotel Room in Boise, Idaho. We're ready to go, man.
Yep, we don't know where the third leg of the tripod is, Joe. So this ship will just continue to sail on, and he'll meet us at the next port.
I mean, Vinnie and I have been texting on the group text all day, and no response. So, Joe, I hope you're doing okay, and we'll catch you on the next trip around the sun.
Hope he's all right. But one guy who I think we will find out a little bit about, apparently tomorrow at 10 a.m., joining the Pat McAfee show is going to be Mr. Aaron Rodgers. Dude,
so,
it is such
LeBron,
a taxing.
I mean, it's like, just really, man. Like, you couldn't just do it like everybody else. You had to do the LeBron shit. Like, come on.
It drives me crazy in the sense that, like, he's a fantastic player, had an amazing career, but, like, let's not make any bones about this. Like, he is not Tom Brady. He is not Peyton Manning. He is not these guys in terms of like winning big games and championships and everything. Guys may have won Super Bowl. As a part of a very stable situation. And it's just like craves the attention for a guy that like absolutely hates the media and like wants his privacy and wants time to think. It's like the guy's gone full like Meghan Markle and like Harry here. I don't get it.
I mean, it's so strange too, because now he's like bringing these collection of losers from Green Bay, and like Alan Lazard, like if he wants that one receiver that he has some familiarity with, like that's fine and everything, but like now he's pushing for like a dirt old Mercedes Lewis and Randall Cobb. Like those guys are just taking up roster spots at this point.
It drives me nuts too, because it's like all we've heard for 5 years now is how he's upset that they don't get him weapons, right? Like Green Bay and all this stuff, and that he doesn't have the arsenal around him. But then he's going to go pull all the same guys from Green Bay. Yeah, I don't understand it at all. And he's going to be moving, if he goes here, to a tougher division with a younger roster. It does not make any sense whatsoever to me, this move.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those really odd things, right? Like, I'm fine with him moving to the Jets and everything like that. I don't know why. I mean, I'll be interested to see what the Jets Super Bowl odds move to. But, like, I don't think, like, I mean, like you said, let's be real. He couldn't beat the Niners at home in a playoff game. Now, granted, the Niners have a really good defense a couple of years ago, and they still do. Yeah. But, like, you couldn't elevate your team that, had a home field advantage to beat, a bad Jimmy G on that day. Niners? Like, it's just so strange, man. So, like, look, he's a good player. He's maybe a first ballot Hall of Famer, maybe.
I think he is. I mean,
but like, it's just, this is so LeBron-esque. Like, he's becoming like, now that's kind of even the shot. Like, that's the disrespect to LeBron.
I was just going to say the same thing.
LeBron's a lot better, but just the whole look at me shit.
Yeah.
Like, they could have done this. The trade's been in place. Like, agreed to in principle, probably for a few days here. Now he's like, it's like Vince in the later stages of Entourage, where he's worried about like, he could just sign the fucking movie deal, but all the time like getting, Turtle put on as his like driver and Drama put on as his like personal chef, so they like get a few extra dollars. Like
Totally.
Now this deal's just gotten so complicated. It's like, come on, man. Like what? Like who are we kidding here? Now the flip side of that is, I mean,
well, do you think that's what happens tomorrow? Like, do you think there's a possibility he goes on to McAfee and retires?
No,
not after. Think so?
After Lazard signed, with the Jets, and he has signed. That
was it.
That was it.
Okay.
And if he fucks now, look, I have no idea. He could fuck the Jets and just go McAfee and like wanted to give Lazard like a good contract on his way out or something. I don't know. Maybe they go for a little Dutch rudder in the showers. Who knows? But I think there's no way. I think if he was retiring, he would not go on McAfee's show.
Yeah.
I think he, at that point, would probably just put out a tweet or a statement and then just retire.
Yeah. What do you think from a football perspective? Obviously, that division is stacked, right? Like, I get it. New England's down, yet they're always still a tough out with Belichick. But we can agree they're the worst team in the division, I think, on paper. Miami's loaded up if Tua can stay healthy. And you've got Buffalo there. Like, where do you think the Jets kind of fit in now to if Rodgers shows up, day one?
I think that division is now wide open. You've got the team around Tua, but at the end of the day, Tua is a weakness in Miami. Okay. Yeah. The Jets have a great defense. Okay. They graded out as PFF's number 1 defense in 2022.
They were solid.
So, solid special teams,
Breece Hall coming back. You've got Garrett Wilson there. You've got Elijah Moore, who's not going anywhere now and I mean, he still could get traded, but who knows? Yeah.
You've got Lazard coming there now. I mean,
and I don't think this will be it for the Jets, right? Like, I could see the Jets they're already giving him whatever he wants, right? So, like, if Aaron's like, I want a receiver in the first round or the second round, like, they're going to get him another weapon or two. Like, they're going to give him everything he wants.
Yes, I mean, they've got some solid tight ends. They've got Conklin. They've got Uzoma. They've got, a solid backfield combination there. I mean, it's just I think that they could be pretty solid. They've got a pretty good offensive line.
Yeah.
I think it could work out really, really well. But, I mean, if he does any weird shit like he does in Green Bay, the media there is just going to be hammering his ass weekly.
That's what I'm saying.
It'll be interesting to see what he does with that.
I agree.
Right? I don't know why. Obviously, the Raiders probably approached him. I'm not sure why he chose not to go there. Because let's make this clear, just so if there's people out there who don't understand. Yes, the Packers technically traded him, but it was up to Rodgers. He wasn't going anywhere that he didn't want to, right?
Yep. No doubt.
So it's an odd choice.
It will be very explosive, good, bad, or indifferent, because I just don't think, like, if it's off to a rocky start, if they're not playing well, if they're losing games, that New York media is going to tear him to shreds, and it's going to be interesting. Moving on to the next quarterback of the hour, I guess. What do you think ends up happening with Lamar? Well, because I just don't know at this point.
First,
I'm very confident he's not a Raven next year. But, like,
I disagree. I disagree at this point.
But like they've come out and said like he's not playing on the franchise tag. Like he'll sit out a year, which would be I disagree with and be like career suicide. But you know what I mean.
So I mean, I think at the end of the day, number one, this was handled terribly by Lamar.
Absolutely.
All these guys have come out and said, well, you know, I negotiated my contract. None of these guys are quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All these guys, Richard Sherman, Bobby Wagner, these guys are all fucking defensive players. And these guys are all negotiating their third, fourth, and even fifth contract sometimes.
Short-term deals.
Let's not compare that to negotiating a guy coming off of his rookie deal.
Yep.
Monster contract. Now, Lamar's his own worst enemy because he set the precedent that he was not going to play for $125 million guaranteed and that $253 million contract that they gave him. Now, I'm sure if you called the Ravens today and said, hey, what's the offer? They're saying, we already know. We've already offered it to him. It's sitting there. He's just said no.
Right.
Okay. Now, could Lamar do? I think that Lamar should. Okay. This is where an agent would have really helped out. Should have called around and said, hey, look, we're not happy. We'll play on a 2-year, $100 million contract.
Absolutely.
We want it to be guaranteed, but 2 years, that's it. We want to prove it to everybody that this wasn't the flash in the pan, and we want to shove it up the Ravens' ass. But do you think Lamar is sitting at his house, pounding the phone, calling around, doing all these things? No, he's not. And number one, he couldn't because even during before the legal tampering, he didn't have an agent, so the teams couldn't contact the player directly.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with representing yourself.
Right.
There was no pre-negotiation.
He's not at the combine behind closed doors with a beer, able to talk to the owner. Or I'm saying like if you have an agent, like that's what they're doing there. Like you wonder why these deals at 9:02 a.m. Right when the legal tampering begins get signed. It's because it's been done for 2 weeks.
Exactly. And there's no way to prove it. It's like, I was calling about player, I was just calling this guy's agent. We already have a player of his on our team, or whatever the case may be. It's just amazing to me that you can be that in that position and be that naive to think that you could do this on your own. And no one's saying Lamar's not smart. He's great at playing quarterback. He's not a professional sports agent. He just doesn't have that knowledge. So, like, why would you not put the best possible people around you? Like, look, Daniel Jones wasn't happy with his agent. He fired his agent, went and got a new agent. And look, he got $40 million a year guaranteed from Daniel fucking Jones. Well, good for him. But he probably has fantastic representation who knows how to negotiate properly.
Well, and the other thing is too, like when you're dealing with these kinds of contracts and these kinds of dollars, you're talking $200-300 million contracts. Like someone made the point that I was listening to. This is not like you're not talking to a GM at this point. Like you need owner approval on this. So like, is Lamar just out there calling Arthur Blank, being like, "Hey, what's going on, man?" Like how does this even get done? Like I don't see there's such a gap in like reality of how these things happen. I'm sure he's had
saying,
conversations,
no one's contacted. Yeah, he's like, no one's contacted me. And it's like, well, you've already set the precedent of what you're not going to play for. So, like, why do people need to call you?
Well, and I think the other thing is, too, he's basing it, like, if his reality,
then who cares?
Well, and his reality is like, I want more than Deshaun Watson, which the entire league has agreed that it was a horrific contract and will never probably be done again.
They already restructured it and gave him $36 million less.
No, totally. But you see, like, the problems. The Browns are already running into issues. No team's going to do that, especially for a guy with injury issues his style of play is, like going to open him up to more injuries. Like there's just such a disconnect in reality. I don't see any other way.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Last year, he should have said, I'll take 2 years, 80 million, 100 million guaranteed, and then I can hit the market.
Yes. Sign an extension with the Ravens.
Right.
Say, hey, guys, I really appreciate that. I'll save you guys $25 million, and I'll do it for 2 years, 100 million guaranteed.
Yep.
But then we're really going to have to back up the truck.
Totally. And
right?
if he delivers, then great. But
and if not, you can move on.
But you look at his numbers, like, I don't know what people are talking about. Like, he has not been good the last 2 years.
No.
He just hasn't. I mean, you look at his I have it right here. I mean, his quarterback rating has dropped off a cliff. His QBR has dropped off a cliff. He's throwing way more interceptions. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. I just don't see it. The only team I could see being crazy enough is, Irsay is just on a 4-day bender and willing to be like, whatever, man. Give this guy, 4 years, 200 mil fully guaranteed or something.
But here's the other problem, Vinny, is now that they put the non-exclusive tag on him, anyone who signs him has to give up two first
rounders. Yep. I get it. He's in a really tough spot.
I mean, it's like,
and if I'm Baltimore at this point, like, I know it's, business is not personal, but it's kind of like, no one trades for you. You're playing on the franchise tag here, dude. Like, I'm not, that contract's not available anymore. Like,
I think that they would still offer him that contract.
You think it's just sitting there on the table ready to be signed?
I think so. I mean, I truly think that if he came back and said, all right, guys, look,
let's do it.
I fucked this up. Like, this was a bad move. Like, I don't like how this went down, but like, give me the 125, the 5 years, 253, and let's go try and win some championships.
Yeah. I just think they're so far apart. I don't know how that comes to play, but who knows? I mean, the market's going to speak, and I mean, I feel like every day that goes, teams are falling off the market on who's going to be like a player to do this, right? So time's a ticking.
So, I mean, let's before we move on, like, let's take a look at realistic landing spots for Lamar.
Just looking at teams that need a quarterback.
So the obvious one would be the Texans, which, I don't know if they're rebuilding their team, and I don't know if they want to give up the 2 first-round picks it's going to take to sign him.
Just because the roster so far, too, right? By the time that roster's built up, Lamar's on the second half of that contract, probably, right? So it's like,
I mean,
what are they?
You've got D'Amico Ryans there, who's a defensive head coach, probably wants to build the defense much the same way the Niners did. Right. The Texans already have the 2nd overall pick. They've got the 12th overall pick. They've got the 33rd overall pick. So they have 3 premium picks.
Yep.
To start off, right? So it's not like you're like, yeah, we can go get a guy for the future. If we're in here, we could trade down. We could take, Tanner McKee with the 12th overall pick from Stanford. And then we got 2 Stanford guys on our team. Let them battle it out. And then so you got the Texans. There's been rumblings about the Dolphins, but I don't know if the Dolphins have enough picks or ammo to go get him.
Well, I thought I read that they're like totally ineligible unless it's a legit sign and trade because they don't have a first-round pick. It got stripped. So they're out.
So they could so they would have to waive the non-exclusive franchise tag.
Yeah, it would have to be. It'd have to be like a legit sign and trade. Like,
I mean, the Dolphins,
like Lamar would
only have 4 draft picks this year.
Yeah, I don't think it's realistic, especially with the cap. Like, I don't know how they would do it.
So they're out.
You've got Tennessee,
Raiders
who's clearly Raiders just signed Jimmy G. Tennessee's clearly just shedding cap. They're already paying Tannehill. They cannot, they would have to trade Tannehill in that package. But I don't know how it works with the cap.
So they could cut Tannehill.
Yeah.
There's reports that they've been shopping Derrick Henry. Could they trade Derrick Henry as a package to get Lamar Jackson?
I think it's more Tennessee's just hitting the reset button a little bit. Like they're just kind of they're gonna aim for one of those top quarterbacks next year, I believe.
Okay.
But so you've got Indy. Indy makes sense. Like they're a desperate franchise. Washington.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think they're content with Sam Howell, because they're rebuilding
Commandos.
too.
So that leaves,
and I don't think anything it would make major moves like that until they get a new owner if Bezos buys them.
Yeah. So you've got everyone else is pretty solidified. Going down the NFC here, Tampa needs a quarterback. Carolina needs a quarterback. In Atlanta. But though Atlanta already came out and said they're out.
I think Atlanta's going with Ritter. I mean, they're just gonna see what he has, it looks like.
So it's like, I mean, and I cannot foresee Carolina trading the first overall pick, but Carolina, Tampa.
No, Carolina, by making that trade, basically said that they're gonna go get their guy and go from there. I don't think that they want anything to do with Lamar. But
and he's not going in the division, so that leaves like 3 teams, maybe 4.
Yeah, so you see that there's a major problem here.
Yeah.
So Lamar, good luck, man, but I think you really, really fucked yourself.
I think so too. All right, moving through the rest of free agency here / trade season. What's your favorite move so far? I've got 2 that I think were just rock solid.
Ooh, my favorite. Well, I mean, obviously, the Niners picking up Hargrave, I think, is great to replace a guy who is getting thrown around like a discarded Beanie Baby from 1993 in the NFC Championship. I like one that just happened, and I have no idea why the Raiders did this, other than they're just in love with Foster Moreau.
Oh, yeah.
Trading Darren Waller?
So I read something
for like the 100th overall pick.
So from what I read, rumor obviously that like something happened when Darren Waller was getting ready to get married, and him and like
so he
what's his name had a blowout, and then like he was just like, get me out of here. And what's his name was just like, all right, fine.
But that's not an excuse to trade one of your best offensive players because you fucked up and accidentally leaked that he was getting married before they told anybody. Like, what are we talking about here? You don't trade one of your best players for like the number 100 pick overall. What's that, like a late 3rd rounder?
Totally. I love the move for the Giants.
It's a great move for the Giants.
I did like the move that came back.
I mean, yeah, it's a fantastic move for the Giants.
I do like the Jacoby Myers signing for the Raiders. Now, I also am kind of sitting here thinking, like, I'm not into signing or trading for receivers and running backs in the NFL today. There's so many good guys that come out every year. Just draft a guy in the second.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers is a good player, though. And he's a good compliment. And, like, look, it makes more sense why they signed him if they are planning on trading Darren Waller.
Yeah.
So now that they have that, I mean, that's a good 3-pronged wide receiving core with him, Renfro,
got Jacobs,
and then, well, who knows? I mean, has it came out? What
they franchised him.
Is he gonna play on that tag?
That is unknown, my friend.
So I mean, we'll see. I mean, that's a good move, though. What's your second one?
I like the Bears trade, in my opinion. Like, dude, they got a fantastic haul. They got a number 1 receiver back in DJ Moore. And then they also got like 3 additional like high picks, like that can easily turn into, if you trade one of them and move back again or something like that, dude, you can get an additional like 4 to 5 studs with those picks. Like they weren't going to select a quarterback. So they just nabbed like 5 to 6 starters, hopefully, by moving back like 7 spots. Like that's a fantastic move.
I mean, I think it's a good move. I think that, they did sign an offensive tackle today.
Mm-hmm.
They really do need to work and help on the O-line. I think that they'll probably draft an offensive lineman coming up.
Yep. But like that's the goal, right? Like you have to put some talent. You got to put some talent around Fields to see if he's the guy. Like, and DJ 100%. Moore is a pretty good starting point.
Yes. I mean, now you've got DJ Moore, and now you've got Darnell Mooney, right? You've got 2 legitimate wide receivers. They seem to really like that Velus Jones Jr. kid.
Yeah, he didn't really get on the field a ton, but
no, he's explosive, but they can send Dante Pettis packing.
Yeah. Did you see they do David Montgomery,
the other St. Brown?
Yeah,
that was
Montgomery to the Lions. That's interesting.
So how many? I mean, are they just gonna say fuck it? They're gonna pull like the Bill Belichick and literally just like throw 3 passes a game now? Like,
well, I don't think they re-signed Jamal Williams, so like he's gonna fill that void.
So that makes more sense. Maybe Jamal Williams would go hang out with Aaron Rodgers in New York maybe again. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
My phone here. Hold on one second.
Oh, room service? I don't know. I kind of like that. I think the Bears absolutely are now in the market for a running back.
Sorry, my work phone is going on.
I was saying I think the Bears are very much in the market for a running back now. I mean, could you see a Bijan Robinson going there at pick 8 or 9? Like that would be something.
I mean, we
talk about surrounding him with talent.
You could do that.
What about the other side of this turntable? What do you think is the worst move? Because we've already mentioned him like multiple times on this, but I think the Allen Lazard deal is one of the worst signings I've ever seen. He sucks.
I don't think it's that bad, dude. Well, I mean, I don't think he sucks. I mean, I don't think I don't know if he's worth what they're paying him.
I mean,
but
it's just
I
big contract.
I don't know if that's the worst move. It's not that big of a contract. It's 4 years, $44 million. It's like $10 million a year, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a bad contract. Like, I just don't see it.
Well, it's not a bad contract.
I mean, he's going to be fighting for like 2nd/3, like balls on that team, like as a 2nd, 3rd receiver behind, like with Corey Davis.
No, he's there.
Lazard is
their
not
number
special.
1 wide receiver. No, he's not bad either.
No, but I mean, like he's a number 2.
He's
for
6'5".
Sure. So what?
I mean, Garrett. They've got Garrett Wilson and they've got Lazard. I mean,
yeah, I guess
Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Mims.
I do love how like Elijah Moore just continues to request trades like every 3 months,
and they just say no.
Continue to say no, but then they don't.
They're like, no.
It's like what? It doesn't make any sense at all.
I think that they maybe had some difficulties, actually getting him the ball last year.
Yeah,
I think that was part of the problem. But I mean,
I do love. Actually, you bring it up there. I do love the fact that no one's talking about Zach Wilson. Like this guy's the number 2 overall pick, and he's just buried there. No one cares. No one's talking about him.
I mean, he said he's going to beat out whoever comes there. So,
God, could you imagine that quarterback room between him and Rodgers? Like,
Look, I think if he knows what's good for him, he'll realize that Rodgers probably really only has 2 more really good years in him.
Oh no,
and
I
that
agree.
his first 2 years really didn't go that well, and he should maybe just, swallow his pride a little bit and fucking and go do it.
I
Right?
I really hope though, like he flips Zach Wilson into like a total conspiracy theorist and like pulls him from the Mormon church, and like they just absolutely like he just turns him like into the dark side.
Yeah. I mean, anything is on the table for that fucking.
Like, hey Zach, come check out this Reddit thread.
Yeah, I mean, just absolutely unbelievable.
What about what's your least favorite move? I guess you already brought up the Raiders, trading their all pro tight end, but
yeah, I think that's just like the dumbest thing that you could do. You have this new quarterback, you want to try and give him as many weapons as possible, and you just trade away one of your guys. Like, it just doesn't really make a whole hell of a lot of sense to me. I don't know if there's been any really bad moves yet. I think that the Carolina Panthers move was desperate, and that it smells very much like the horrible Kevin Costner movie Draft Day that we all watch because, and I continue to watch because I'm a football junkie and I'll watch anything that has to do with football. Telling him to make some sort of a splash for the draft. That's what this reeks of right there. I mean, you could trade up to number 1, and if you get your franchise quarterback,
it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Right. And they didn't give up 3 1s. They gave up DJ Moore, who they've got Terrence Marshall, who I think is going to turn into a very nice player.
Yeah.
He's already, kind of shown that. I don't know. I don't know if there's any really bad. I think that the Eagles letting basically their entire defense walk is a kind of a head scratching move.
Yeah, they're.
I know you're going to have to pay Hurts at some point, but you don't have to pay him yet.
Yeah,
you've still got 2 years before you have to pay this guy.
Right.
Why not try? You just were in the Super Bowl. Why not give these guys short deals and try and run that back for 1 more year? Or did these guys, like, is all this shit about saying, like, people don't want to play for Nick Sirianni? Like, is there some shreds of truth to that?
I don't know, man. Like, they all seem pretty happy to, well, obviously from a money standpoint, but they all seem pretty happy to, like,
get the hell out of there.
Go move on,
So I don't know. I think collectively, I think that has been the biggest head scratcher for me is that the Eagles are basically losing a lot of very integral pieces to their defense, right. and not really working super hard to maybe re-sign them.
Totally. All right, pivoting over to some links. You got any leans on the Valspar here?
So let me pull up my notes here.
What do you got going? What's your bet sheet?
Pull up my notes. Hold on. Give me a sec. All right. Where's my notes? All right. So as always, these are going to be for DraftKings.
Okay.
So just a little bit about this one is going to have not such a great field. There's been, 4 super like wild fields the last few weeks. There's going to be guys here, Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas, they're there. People are getting ready for some majors coming up. Valspar, I mean, it could be a birdie fest, right? Ball striking's a premium here. So I really, really like ball striking. Strokes gained approach, strokes gained around the green, scrambling, and the bogey avoidance, because there is some bad stuff here. So Sam Burns has won this back-to-back years. Before that, it was Paul Casey, won it twice. Jordan Spieth has won here before. So, you don't need a bomber here. That's the
Okay.
biggest thing. You've got to keep the ball in play. I think that for me, I think Justin Thomas out of my top tier guys is probably going to be my favorite play. You can't go wrong with Spieth. But for $600 less, I think that they're just kind of similar. So if you need the savings, I would go down to Thomas. Tommy Fleetwood is a guy that I really like. He's a little bit overpriced based on his odds. He's 22-1 favorite, but he's $9,800, which is only, $800 less than Jordan Spieth.
Okay.
And only $200 less than Justin Thomas, who's 11-1 to win the tournament. So he may be a little bit overpriced. Don't really love that there. Kind of going down into like the mid eights. I think that Wyndham Clark is a nice play here. He's very good off the tee. And he's very good on the green. The part where he's going to struggle is that in between the approach. So that's a little bit scary. So he's a little bit more of a risky play. If you wanted somebody who's a little bit better of a play as far as ball striking and strokes gained approach, Justin Suh at 8,900. Nobody is going to play Justin Suh. Last week he was $6,600.
Okay.
So now he's $8,900. So you kind of just have to kind of take that into account. But 12th in tee to green, 6th in strokes gained approach, and 10th in putting over his last 24 rounds. He's been playing good. Form is something you definitely need to pay attention to when you're playing DraftKings or betting golfers. He's rounding into form pretty well. They've played some tougher courses with Bay Hill and the Honda Classic the last few weeks. This is an easier course. I really do like Justin Suh quite a bit this week.
All right.
We're taking I like a little Bobby Shelton at 7,500. Missed a cut last week. I like him. I like his game. I think he can excel here. And then some bombs. I think Zach Wilson at 6,800 is a really good play. He's kind of like the Paul Casey, the American version of Paul Casey, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But driving accuracy, 170 and in, he's going to be really, really good. He's made the cut 5 straight events in a row, so that's really positive. So if you're looking for a guy down in the 6s, don't love a lot of people down there, but I do like Zach Johnson quite a bit this week.
I love it. I was able to cash a little bit on the players last week, so
yeah, players was tough last week.
It was tough. Started out. I mean, it was just all over the map, and then Scotty Scheffler, man. I mean, dude, that guy is just a goddamn machine.
He's very good.
And he's just like, he doesn't do anything like, I don't know. Obviously, golf better than I do, but it's just like nothing reckless, it seems like. Like, he'll have bad shots, but like, dude, he just makes the easy shot. He just takes what's given to him and just dominates. It's like, you have guys spraying the ball everywhere, and he's just like, yep, I'll just hit it down the middle and just play straight up and beat everybody.
I mean, it's one of the reasons, like, back, a couple of years ago when he won 3 tournaments and 5 starts, right? He's a very consistent player. And so when he starts to go on these streaks, I mean, it's kind of like a lookout kind of thing. Cause like,
yeah,
man, I mean,
he's as locked in as anyone.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, lookout world. I don't think he's playing this week, is he?
I don't think so.
I think he took this week off, which is probably good for everybody else. But he's super focused on the Masters. There's no real reason for him to play this, especially after winning last week. I mean,
yeah,
he's going to go take a couple of weeks off, get ready for the first major, and then we'll go from there.
Crazy. You got any You got any leans, any insight on March Madness? I know you're a huge college basketball locked in every night kind of guy.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, so this is perfect. So
so tournament starts
tournament
Thursday.
starts on Thursday.
Okay.
How do you, for a guy, as am I, have not watched one college basketball game, pick your bracket?
So I do
process?
try and do research.
Okay.
I do try and do some research. I'll read like a couple of articles.
Okay.
Right. I won't just go total shotgun blast. But like, I mean, I have the paid RotoWire subscription. And like that's gonna be the extent of my like I just got done reading the RotoWire article, the team previews.
Yeah.
Right.
I do love it because I do the same thing, and I'm like they're like, ooh, this team could be dangerous. Like if the three balls drop in and like fast paced offense here, I'm like, all right, that sounds good to me. Let's rock and roll. Like, let's go, baby, Marquette. And like you're just,
but
like, no
like,
insight whatsoever.
Like Iona is in the NCAA tournament. Like who? Iona? Like okay.
Well, I was thinking today, like I'm obsessed.
Kennesaw State.
I absolutely love college sports, but
I do too.
It's mainly due to football, right? Yes. Like it's not due to basketball. So correct. There's a lot of teams in here. I'm going to give you a perfect example here. Can you tell me where Creighton College is located?
Ooh, Creighton. I'll say Ohio.
I'm going to look it up and double check it here. Negative. It is located in Omaha, Nebraska. So
okay.
I thought it was up in like Delaware area. Egg on my face. But point being is like I just love being able to be like, ooh.
Do you know where Oral Roberts is located?
That sounds like an Ohio school.
Roberts University. Oh, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
There we go. Middle America, baby. I also like to pick games like when I get deeper into the bracket, and I'm in that Elite Eight area where it's like I think football. So I'm like, ooh, like Miami versus Texas, like that would be a great game. And I really I think back to the last time maybe those teams played, and I just run it through football wise in my head, and then I just pick the team that I think would be best.
See, so there you go.
So that's how I do it. I'm sure I've won a bracket or two, but I probably wouldn't take picks for me in March Madness. But it is the best tournament in sports, hands down. Friday is also St. Patrick's Day. Should be a pretty wild day with gambling and drinking.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Definitely
throw a few pints down.
Yeah, I'm going to see our buddy Mike in Arizona, so we're heading down there on Friday.
Nice.
I have to drive from the airport to his house, so I would like to throw a few down on the plane, but we're gonna go. My wife's going to see Taylor Swift.
I don't think they do checkpoints or anything in Arizona. I think it's just fair game, so I think you're okay.
Well,
I heard that somewhere.
You heard that somewhere. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I'll take that under advisement.
Yeah. Last topic I really have on here, and I need to get your insight on this. I told you this right before the show, and your jaw kind of hit the floor. But
okay.
I was having some streaming issues with Apple TV specifically. And last week, finally got things rocking and rolling, and one of the TVs where we watch most of our shows finally started Ted Lasso. And I'm almost through it. Just the best binge watching show I've had in a long time. Like the show is just so absolutely incredible in all ways, right? But it's like gotten me thinking that we're not football fans, but I feel like I need to just go all in and select a team and just adopt one. Maybe be a local representative of, you know, whatever. I don't want to pick just the like traditional, you know, Man United where everybody is like, everyone
No,
feels like
that's
they're
see that.
a Man United team.
Yeah,
you know?
that's no fun.
That's like saying you're going to be like if you're from, you know, another country, you're like, ooh, the Dallas Cowboys look cool. Like, I don't want that. So I got to find a team and like draft one. Bless it.
Okay. So
I don't know if you know much about this. It could help me. There's 20 teams. There's a lot here.
So I'm looking at the I'm just gonna pull up the Premier League standings.
Yep, that's what I got going right here.
So right away, I'm drawn to one that's like mid-pack for a very specific reason. Is my son's name is Brighton. And there is a Brighton football team.
That is interesting.
You know, if I pull them up, you know, they're mid-pack, 7th place out of 20. That's not terrible.
Yeah.
Right? They've got, you know, 39 points. I don't know how points are even gained, right? They won their last game.
I think it's similar to like a hockey, you know, situation we got going here, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, for you, I don't even know anything about this, but there's a team just called Wolves.
Yeah, looks cool. I did see that one.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Like if I was gonna have to get some like Wolves merch, yeah, I think I would be pretty into that.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like that would
there's just
there's some pretty solid like hooligan like action too for the Wolves, right?
Yeah. So I have been researching the hooligan angle because if I'm gonna do it, I'm not exactly gonna like, you know, blood in, blood out here and join, but like I do feel like I have to get in, you know, like get into the mix, right? I gotta represent. West Ham United was listed recently on one of London's most violent clubs. So that kind of drew me in.
Okay.
I was a little bit interested there. Let's see what else was on that list. Millwall, that's the team. They're not in the Premier League. It sounds like they got regulated. They're in another league.
They got relegated. Okay,
yeah.
So they're in. So they're not quite back up to the big time.
All it says is they've been a thorn in English football fans for decades. Famous incidents include the 1985 Kenwell Worth riot and the 2009 Uptown Park riot. So they've had 2 riots that they've caused.
2009?
Yeah, recent.
Wow.
Another, I don't know if you call that a plus, but a plus, their team name is the Bushwhackers. That's super cool, in my opinion. The Bushwhackers are most famous for their hooligan and thug supporters. They roll in packs of 200 to 250 and by far the most fanatical supporters of the club. Okay. I mean, I feel like you're taking a pretty big leap. You know, that's like, you know, you're jumping all in and saying like you're going all the way there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad call.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of
the
Bushwhackers, dude. I know,
bro.
I know it sounds pretty cool. I'm gonna send you a few of these articles I read.
So I like that. I like that Brighton is sponsored by Nike and American Express.
Okay.
I like that. Just trying to see some. Their stadium doesn't look like overly flashy.
Okay.
Kind of like that. Yeah, I think that this might be a pretty solid. See, I think I'm on the wrong team already. Fuck.
I'm gonna definitely put out a poll and like get some. I'm gonna crowdsource this because my team is 100% for like I can be bought here.
I mean, this Aston Villa sounds good.
Aston Villa sounds cool.
Crystal Palace.
I know there's something about like Everton just sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
West Ham, I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
They're not very good, but that's okay. You buy low, you know, the stock market. Like buy them now.
Leicester City. Not
Man,
bad.
there's some cool names. I need to go through the colors. I need to go through the logos. I need to go through the sponsors.
Yeah, I got to be honest. Like Brighton, I don't love their logo.
Okay, so that's a negative there. Like I'm gonna put together a whole chart.
Like,
and,
what about
rank these.
Fulham? Fulham Football Club.
Yeah, there we go. Like so, I think I need to stack rank this. I'm gonna come up with a chart, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up with like a top 3, and I'm gonna put it out as like a poll, which will help my decision. Because, like I said, I don't want to be a corporate sellout and just join, the Dallas Cowboys of the English Premier League.
I might have found my team.
What do you got?
Fulham Football Club.
Fulham. Okay, where's this? What do we got here?
The Thames Valley Travelers are a football hooligan group associated with the English football club Fulham. The first firm associated with the club was called SW6 in the 1970s, and later the Thames Bank Travelers, Green Pole Boys, H Block, and Fulham Youth Crew.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
I like this.
Okay, I pulled up a new list. I'm going to send you this list.
Okay.
Number 1, hooligans. Okay, the hooligan clubs.
Okay.
Millwall, once again, the Bushwhackers take the number 1 in a separate site. So this is like,
okay.
I think they're the by far the most notorious. Like that's,
so they're not even in the Premier League, and they're still number 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna share this. Hold on. What's
Are you on wolfgangsport.com?
Yep, that's where I am. Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
All right. Okay, here we go. Sharing the screen. All right, so number 1, the Bushwhackers here.
Okay.
Ripping out seats, smashing windows at pubs. Yeah, it's a little extreme, I think, for me who's never really watched football before, soccer. Let's see, West Ham's up here, number 2. Interesting. They're called the Firm. That's kind of cool.
That's not bad. Inner City Firm were formed in 1977.
Mm-hmm. They have a ferocious rivalry with the Bushwhackers. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Along with the Millwall Bushwhackers and Chelsea Headhunters, the Firm are among the most notorious in London.
Okay.
The ICF, as they call themselves for short, have a ferocious rivalry with the Bushwhackers.
Read the sentence below that, because that's the most insane thing I've ever heard.
The ICF is infamous for leaving calling cards on victims that read, "Congratulations, you have just met the ICF," something that was adopted by other firms.
So they just like knock people out and leave cards that say like "Congratulations."
Yeah, they're like the Joker, dude.
Okay, well, first off, I don't know why I'm not following this account, but Hooligans TV is absolutely
yeah, I just saw that too.
Automatic.
Okay, that's an easy follow.
Okay, so I'm going to be doing a lot of my research kind of right here from this account, I think.
Jeez Louise.
Jim, I'm not sure if you see the screen that's being shared right now, but
no. What do we? So sorry, I was on a different window. Maybe I should get back on that one.
Yeah, you should get back to the main screen here.
Okay.
This AC Horsons, I didn't see that in the list.
Which one?
Do you see the main screen here?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm sharing it. Oh, it's not. Oh, sorry. My bad. I clicked over to the Twitter. I thought you were able to see it, but service crew, interesting. Okay, let's see.
Leeds United.
Yep. Okay. So
they were involved in a major disturbance after the 1975 Europe Cup finals. Enraged at 2 penalty appeals being turned down to Bayern Munich, they ripped seats from the Parc des Princes stands, throwing them onto the pitch.
Good
Leeds would
Lord.
become the first English club to be banned from the European competition as a result. Okay.
Pretty wild.
Well,
Birmingham City. Okay.
Okay. Top contender for the best name, the Zulu Warriors.
Yeah, that's cool. That's the name of the club. All right.
Their fans chant. See, the chants are something that I really can get behind with soccer.
Zulu. Okay, so apparently there was a trial in this one. Chelsea Headhunters. Yeah, see, I don't like this. The Headhunters have strong links to white supremacist organizations. Like, come on.
Yeah, we
I
don't.
don't need to be a part of that.
You know,
okay.
We don't want that. That's not great.
Leeds, okay, here we go.
I mean, the Red Army in Manchester.
Being part of the Red Army is pretty cool. But again, I told you I didn't want to be like, I don't want to join the mainstream.
Let's take a look at number 7. The Naughty
40.
Or N40 for Stoke City.
Are these guys even in the Premier League?
I don't think so, but neither are the Bushwhackers. At its height, the firm had over 700 members and had gained a fierce reputation for fighting before, during, and after games. Although most hooligan activity has settled since the height of the 80s and 90s, Stoke has been involved in notable recent incidents. In 2018, at an under 21s game, so not even like a real game, in the Czech Trade Trophy against local rivals Port Vale, violent fighting took place in the streets and inside the stadium. Coins, fucking throwing shillings at people. Flares and seats were ripped from the stadium and were thrown at police as over 150 officers struggled to contain the violence.
Here's your boys.
Toilets and sinks from the grounds were even thrown through windows.
You see the picture below? These are your boys. The Stoke City N40.
Dude,
yeah, those guys
look at that flag. Look at that.
The 6.57.
It's like fucking off center.
Let's see. Anywhere else? I don't recognize any other Premier. Arsenal, I guess, is in here.
Cardiff City, the Soul Crew. Dude, look at the picture of this like wannabe Ron Weasley for the Herd for Arsenal. Look at this redhead. Unbelievable.
All right, so we're gonna have an update. We'll have an update on the next show and where we're at as we progress further and further to join in a soccer team, football team by next season.
Apparently, they're called, and the hooligan clubs are apparently called firms. That's a new one.
Gotta get that right.
The Zulu Warriors is a very high contender on my list. I got to be honest right now.
All right. Well, we have to decide. Like, I can't have. I feel like I'm gonna do. I gotta join some of these, at least in the Premier League. So I think that gets rid of the Bushwhackers, unfortunately.
It sounds like all the Bushwhackers do. It sounds like their football team just sucks, and they just like.
That's exactly.
And they just want to. They're just going to show up to just kick people's ass.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Yeah, they may not be the best ones to jump in on, but I'll do some more research. I'll do some more recon.
I mean,
and I'm going to say the hooligan squad is going to make up probably like 50% of my decision here. And then I'll I'll bracket out the rest of the chart,
It's very interesting to me that they're called firms. I'm very intrigued by that.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I need to go back and watch Green Street Hooligans again. Kind of that was a little bit more.
Green Street Hooligans, a 2005 movie, is a drama about football hooliganism centered around Green Street elite firm, which is based on the ICF, gaining the firm further notoriety along with their hatred for the Millwall Bushwhackers.
All right.
What more proof do you need that they're... The ICF is West Ham. I think they're in the Premier League.
I think they are. West Ham, where are they?
17th.
Yeah. They're in.
Well, they're one step outside of relegation right now.
Okay, so as long as they finish the season within
17th
relegation,
or
like they're
better.
not going to get dropped,
They're in.
then I think they may be the leader in the clubhouse.
Okay. Interesting.
All right. Great. I'm gonna do some more recon, send out a few polls, and I think that should do it.
I like it.
Jim, you got any other topics? You feel pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm a big F1 guy. I know we don't talk a lot of F1, but F1 season's kind of getting rolling. Second race this weekend. I'm just excited about that more than anything. But no, I think we pretty much covered free agency pretty well. I tried to say beforehand, I'm not gonna, just talk about the Niners the whole time because not everyone gives a flying fuck about the Niners like we do.
Yeah.
But I've been pretty happy with the moves that they have made so far.
Yeah.
I think the Sam Darnold move is one that's not super flashy. It's a 1-year deal, but I would much rather have him in the game than Josh Johnson. I'll just leave it at that.
I agree.
And I'm very happy that I don't have to watch Mike fucking McGlinch. Oh, that's the worst move. Timeout.
I was waiting for
how did we forget about that? Denver giving Mike McGlinchey $90 million for a quarterback that traditionally holds the ball a long ass time and now has a right tackle that against anybody that's halfway athletic won't be able to basically touch them, or he'll just get a holding penalty called.
It's going to be interesting. Better get that ball out quick in Denver. That's all I got to say.
But that's not what Russ does. So it's
him and Sean Payton are going to have some issues if he's not.
Well, maybe who signed there? Maybe it'll be the Jarrett Stidham show in a couple of years, since they signed him for $10 million, which is really weird.
I don't really understand that one. Like you're paying your quarterback an astronomical amount of money unless you don't think he's healthy or something. But I don't know.
Why wouldn't the Raiders just keep him? Because Jimmy hasn't shown that he can be healthy. So, why not? If you're the Raiders, why would you not just pay him $10 million?
Well, 100%. They're going to have to sign someone / draft someone now because that the injury is coming. You just don't know when.
Right? I mean, there's not really anybody left. I mean, Andy Dalton signed with the Panthers to be their backup / rotation, whatever, with Matt Corral.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know. So that is to just circle back. The Mike McGlinchey $90 million contract is the worst move so far, I think, this offseason.
I like it. A late addition to the stockpile of bad moves.
I was trying not to just talk Niners the whole time, so that didn't come up immediately.
No, I like it. All right, man. I think that pretty much does it for me. I'm going to probably spend the next hour or two just cycling through my Premier research, which AKA means a few of the Twitter accounts that we found that just show hooligan clubs and activities post-game. So I can't believe I didn't know these existed. Any final thoughts?
Nope, that's it. I don't hate the delving into the football. It's a hell of a lot more interesting than some of the other sports that we have in our country, I think.
I just can't deny the level of passion that comes from it. You know what I mean?
The dedication and the passion, even if you're not in a firm, but these people that know 55 different chants and songs throughout the game, and they just on cue hit them pretty nuts.
And the level that they're able just to show up to a pub at 7 a.m. and drink to 11 p.m. with a game mixed in, maybe some debauchery in the middle. It's just a level of commitment that we just
it's fantastic.
I think it's amazing. Flat out amazing. But all right, dude, that pretty much does it. Hopefully we can locate Joe, get him involved, maybe on selecting a premier team. We'll decide if we end up going on the same side with one team and we just become fans of that on the pod.
I would prefer that. So we just go
Yeah.
like full in, and then like when they come up in the news or something, we could talk about it. But we definitely, I can't pick a team that's been relegated. We can't do that.
No. That's what I mean. Like, I don't know how many games are left or matches are left in this season, but
I think there's quite a few.
Okay.
I don't know though. That's just being honest. That's a complete guess.
Okay, so maybe we'll be steady on this. Like we won't, because if I make a decision and that team like gets relegated, like I'm gonna be very upset. So maybe we'll just like start a clean, fresh slate in next season. But we'll pick.
Maybe we kind of play it out a little bit, and then once we figure out who's getting relegated and who's coming in, then we can go full in for 24.
Okay. Exactly. Maybe we'll fly out there. We'll go to a game or something.
Now because I'll do the whole thing. I'll get in. I'll do the chants. I'll make it sound like I know what I'm doing when I absolutely do not. I'll do it all. You got to go just immerse myself in the experience.
Break a few windows, maybe. Just have some fun. All right, dude.
All right,
we'll talk to you later.
Peace.